For me, I am not happy at all when there's violence or any Nairobian is mistreated. It is not right, you know. Chair, we have cases where my officers are the ones who have been beaten up by tenants and attacked. It happened in Karioko, I think Ziwan, Woodley, Uhuru, where it's our officers who themselves are the ones who are attacked. Estate managers, in the performance of their normal work, are intimidated, are attacked. Some of them, when you call them to discuss, they arrive because they think that they can use politics to intimidate the county from doing its work. And you see, there's that role that we must have. Yes, I want to serve you, but you also need to pay because the services that you want, and there must be a balance. So even as I apologize for the nature of how it was done, number one, there is no vote or budget line to compensate, especially a default. In fact, if we were more inhuman, we would auction their goods to recover the rent, because that is rent, that is income that has, and it always comes up in the auditors' questions for those in the public accounts committee, because those are receivables for the county at a very subsidized rate. I don't know where else you can get a 2-bedroom house for 9,350. And not only is it 9,350, you have not paid for 10 years. That is the guidance we really need. Number two, yes, Senator Sifuna, my senator, there was that issue of the waiver. We realized that it was not done procedurally, but we accepted it. We've actually accepted and we've done the calculations. So the waiver that was given in 2020? The areas are talking about are past that 2019 area waiver. Normally what we waive ideally would be on interest. Because you see, if you keep doing a waiver, there are people who say, let's not pay. Yet there's another someone else paying. And say, okay, let's not pay, after 4 years, we'll be given a waiver. So there are genuine cases, but some, it's impunity. The case of our friend in Woodley, he goes and says that these are our houses. You know, you stay for so long that you feel that the house is yours. That gentleman can afford, you know him. But he owes us 1.4 million. Sorry, 1.14 million. That is rent of 5.6 years. Where will you stay in this country without paying rent? We all pay rent, all of us. Offices, homes. So for me, it is that balance, really. How to balance the interest of the county, because the county needs these resources, even to develop those estates. I'll give you an example. The 43 houses in Woodley are now yielding to another 1,975 houses through urban renewal. And here, when I said that everybody in our estates who will yield for us to build, Chair, we did something. Even the courts asked the tenants, are you guys serious? Because the old tenants took us to court because we were evicting them to build. We told them, number one, if you've been staying in our house, we will give you a house for free. Number two, for the period that you're away, we are giving you $1 million bob rent to pay elsewhere. The judge asked them, are you guys out of your mind? Which landlord gives you money to go stay elsewhere and gives you a house? I gave them allotment letters. They have an allotment letter. They can go to the bank today and get a loan from an allotment letter over a modern apartment. Because I was saying 43 houses are giving me 1,975. For me to sell those 43 would be very greedy. We look like the county is trying to do business. We're not. So it's a social service. Ask the 43, they have allotment letters. In Ngara, when you come to do the same, once we get to that place, the developer will come and give you rent and build. So apart from the issue of the altercation, which is very unfortunate, you've asked about my officers who then come and take the house. You're vulnerable if you don't pay. You're given that opportunity. Because if I work in the county and I live in Thika, I have no house. I work in the county diligently. I'm commuting, and there's a defaulter who's going to be removed for not paying. Of course, it is a natural thing. So how you protect these people is by helping them to pay. For us to have payment terms. The senator was explaining, there are some who I've been paying for them. Instead of being waivers, what we do these days, we make sure they know that it has to be paid. And so we pay. Because everybody will come asking for a waiver. You know how Nairobi is. Everyone will come and give us how their situation is, or there's no job, etc. We'll end up we'll just say all the houses then should be free, what is the justice also for those who are struggling and actually are making it? There's someone who says, this month I don't have 9,000, but I have 7,500, and they pay. Someone like that would never be evicted. So it is the issue of that of that balance. If you look at the list, senators, and divide this amount of arrears by the rent, we're talking about hundreds of months in default. In Jamhuri, in fact, I really like what my senator one day told me. You know how these agencies say this road was done by your taxes. Jamhuri, where they've cleared all default, I am planning, and actually we've budgeted, to do a full makeover of the entire place. Paint, renovate, and put a sign there, this has been paid for by your rent. So that people value that when you pay taxes, it is actually to serve you. Right now, if you go to Huruma Flats, there used to be a lot of garbage there. There's no garbage. I cleared all those heaps because these guys are paying. If you go to Harambe in Buruburu, they are paying. This sector has now increased revenue by 250%, I was explaining earlier, which can be used to serve the people. So we formed committees. We have estate managers. The estate managers know, for instance, if somebody is deceased, who is now in that house, and they update those records. But also the responsibility of the tenant to come and say, my dad passed on, can I now get the ticket and come with a birth certificate? Can I get now the card? We call it the card to be under my name. And I think and I implore upon my staff to be very humane with these people. So what happened, I formed this committee, including the area MCS for all these estates. They did the reconciliations. They removed the issue of what was waived, and finally came and said, now these 5 or these 10, it is irreparable. These ones just have to relocate. But these others have agreed on a payment plan. We invited them. They're always available to come to City Hall. But the court or the Senate will not stop you from paying rent. You have to pay rent. Rent has to be paid. We pay taxes. We pay for fuel. There was a question on the court orders that I would want to look at, because I know the case of Woodley, and yes, we won the case eventually. That was not done very, very well. That one I know, and I know even the guys who were involved. In fact, the day when he showed me, it was also an eviction of an individual. There are some who just say, how do you deal with impunity? They have notices. Somebody is staying in that 17,000 house, has an extension, is charging rent of 50,000, and is not paying us rent of 17,000. Yet he is charging somebody in the extension behind his house rent. Is it fair, honestly? For those who are actually paying rent, But genuine cases, I am always, willing to look at. That's why I moved this sector from just housing to Tony, social services. Tony, you just look at him. He's a kind guy. He's a nice guy, he has a heart. In fact, themselves are so happy because they feel they can approach him. He's the one who takes care of our children's homes. Yesterday there's a girl who came to City Hall. I think he took her to Kayole, to our home for girls. We have 300 children. He takes care of Mji wa Huruma. Mji wa Huruma is our old people's home. I think you need to come as a justice committee and see how we're taking care of the old people. And something which he did last week touched me. What used to happen before, and I'm very ashamed to say this, for years, when those old people would die, they would be sent to city mortuary. And then later it is like a case of unclaimed bodies. And so when you dispose in bodies, they also dispose it. We said no. We'll be doing a burial for them. A full burial ceremony. Even in fact, there's one we lost, was it last week? And I'm attending the burial. And we'll bury at Langata, we'll get some kids from our children's home to come and say this is my shosho or buka. So the dignity, So really we're trying to do that. And so sometimes understand, I'm also leading an institution of people. I have people who have been there since when I was born. So the culture issue of how you deal with people, it's continuous, 20,000 people. There must be one or two who go beyond. But the essence and the vision and what Tony keeps telling them, what Mbogo keeps telling them is, let's serve our customers. We said we want to bring a city of order, dignity, to how we serve our people. So we're still available, my friend, to look at your cases individually. I don't know if this amount, which I'm seeing here of 946,000 is the correct amount. Come to City Hall, do the reconciliation. But the responsibility to pay must be there. If you want a payment plan, we'll do a payment plan. But ultimately, let everyone know that you have to do your part for us to serve you as well. Sure.
Thank you very much for that.
Only one concern, maybe a suggestion to the governor. Is it possible then for cases you know are very vulnerable, owing out of this incident and others you are aware, that you can propose these families or children to affordable housing so that they can become beneficiaries and they can have places to live, other than having been evicted and having gone through these, otherwise it doesn't make sense to have affordable housing, and then you as a governor, you are not able to propose some people there who you know are very vulnerable.
That's a very good idea, Jack. I like that.